Lioness, no.
Because I asked Jack to join to give us. a bit of
I
an
got,
update.
I had my husband put this in a JPEG for you, a simplified version. And I have we did a parade poster real fast that is in a JPEG, and I'll send it to you either today or first thing in the morning.
Excellent.
And that way it's ready to go on the website, because then you don't have to convert it into a JPEG.
Would you be able to kind of give us a high-level overview of what the Lions are doing for the event?
From what I understand, I talked to Alvaro to get permission, so I can do that, but yeah.
Once we start.
We are two separate organizations. And all you ladies, I could use lionesses. We lost a lot of lionesses this year, sadly.
I think a lot of people are cutting, as we get older, a lot of people. are
Well,
just cutting
some
back.
passed away and
Yeah.
two moved,
Yeah, so-
left California. So that was hard.
When are your meetings?
Pardon?
When are your meetings?
We're the last Wednesday of the month.
All right, everyone. I need a marketing-related gavel. That's something I need to think. No, just something that represents marketing. Okay, I call this meeting to order. City Clerk, can we do roll call?
Oh, goodness. Okay, so we've got Member Bloomquist via teleconference.
Here.
All right, Member Codling.
Here.
Excuse me, you're Vice Chair, excuse me. Member Overton
Here.
and representative of the Clear Lake Chamber of Commerce, correct?
Yes.
Joan Mingori and Sheriff Claffey.
Here. Okay, we have at least one guest online, so I'll go over meeting procedures. All items on the agenda will be open for public comments before final action is taken. Citizens wishing to introduce written material into the record at the public meeting on any item are requested to provide a copy of written material to the city clerk prior to the meeting date so that the material may be distributed to the committee prior to the meeting. Speakers must restrict comments to the items as it appears on the agenda and stay within a 3-minute time limit. The chair has the discretion of limiting the total discussion time for an item. And as a courtesy to others, turn off your cell phones. Okay, let's go into public comment. Do we have any public comment?
I have not received any public comment via email, and it doesn't look like anyone on the Zoom wishes to speak.
Wonderful. All right. And Wilda, I know you're listening in. You know, this meeting's a little bit more of a brainstorm than a city council meeting. So if you do have anything you want to interject, feel free to raise your hand and we'll get you in. Susan, you can talk at any time. All right, discussion of beautification projects. So let me pull up the project guide. All right, so going from the top down, the fish statue project, since we don't have Bruno here, I got a bit of an update from Alan. Do you guys have a better update based on that call the other week? Essentially, what I have is the Austin Park spot is planned. Austin Beach, as part of the Promenade project, they'll be installing concrete for the fish over there. Redbud, the location is figured out, but no installation efforts have begun yet. And then the one that's destined for Highland Park right now is on hold. So depending on if we were able to revitalize that park, or sounds like we're just going to have it on hold for now. No action items for the marketing committee, as far as I know. Anything you'd like to add?
No, I think that covered it.
Anyone else? All right, moving on to the light pole banner project. So after talking with Alan and Supervisor Sabatier, it looks like Downtown Strategies is going to lead the design of this project as part of their contract with the city. The Rotary would still like to lead the administration of the effort moving forward. I haven't been able to attend the last two Rotary meetings, but I have buy-in from at least Councilmember Slutin, who's one of the current presidents, and future president, Andrew Pearson. What we need to do on the Rotary side is just put a little task force together to work out the logistics. But as of right now, everything seems on track. In terms of the design, I think I don't have a timeline yet from Downtown Strategies on if and when they're going to be producing that. I was looking to you guys to see if you had any
I
insight.
don't.
My target date is still July 1. I don't know if the design will support that, but I'm going to have all the administrative pieces in place so that if everything falls into place, we can go.
Can you tell me what you're talking about? 'Cause
Oh,
I
I'm
haven't
sorry,
seen
yes.
this. That's all right. I just, only having a business downtown and a flagpole right in front of our business, or, I'd kind of be curious too to
Nope.
know what this is
You'll
about.
love it.
So I've been working with Ms. Cepeda and the local, the Lower Lake Action Group.
Okay.
So they have all the equipment. The senior signs are up, banners are up there
Right.
right now on our light poles. That typically runs from through Q2, right? So they put it up sometime in April, they bring it down sometime in June or July, right? The hope is to keep that as a beautification tool for the
Right,
city year
right.
round. So to do that, obviously it takes a lot of heavy lifting for that group to, raise the funds and set up the banners for the seniors. We want to create a sustainable way to do that year round for seasonal beautification banners and then sponsor banners as well to help support the program.
And I will tell you, just to add to that, we had 2 out-of-county visitors because of the Catfish Derby that were so impressed with what those banners around our town that one lady said she was taking it back to her home in Daly City to tell them this was such an honor to see in our little town. So it made an impression to the visitors that came into the chamber on Saturday.
Well, yeah, I think everyone has loved what they've done for the seniors.
Oh, yeah.
And if we can continue that year round, I think it's going to be a great asset for the city. I think us as a marketing committee is how do we do that sustainably, right?
Okay.
And so that's what we've been talking about the last 2 meetings is setting up a program so that we can solicit sponsors who find value in doing that while also marrying the beautification element.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Did we ever come up with a price?
Nope, and so that's going to fall on Rotary to determine the pricing package. From what I know, Councilmember Kramer said so Lower Lake does it year round as well because they have the equipment and they just continued the effort. They were charging $250 a banner for a single sponsorship banner. I shared some pricing estimates before. It's kind of in the ballpark of what I was thinking as well. But he said that they're sold out every quarter, so it seems like the market will bear it and folks find value. So
We're thinking about the same. 250.
it's going to come down to what Rotary that task force for Rotary decides. It's going to be so the way I have it structured would be they're going to administer the program. They're going to get sponsors, take and remove banners. They're going to partner with the city for design, right? So this marketing committee, or in this case, Downtown Strategies, we're going to partner with them on creating the banners, at least the seasonal ones. And if there's a style guide for the sponsorship ones as well, we'll find out. So because it's going to be their program, we're going to let them determine how they want to leverage it, right? So if they want to do it for $1 a banner, they can choose to do that. If they want to do it for $1,000 a banner and they think the market will bear it, they can do that. As long as the A-side banners, the inside banners
Perfect.
are decorative in nature.
And paid for.
Yeah, I mean, ideally paid through by sponsors,
Right.
but it's going to be on them, the Rotary group to make sure the A-sides are done.
Okay.
Cool. So that's the update. I'm working with Downtown Strategies and Alan to come up with the design, and then Rotary will come back with a package hopefully for next meeting that we can talk about and review. I'm going to skip down to number 6 here, the poetry boxes, just because. So So poetry boxes, this is something led by our poet laureate in Lake County. I spoke with her yesterday. It sounds like 2 boxes are going in at Clearlake, and I don't have a visual representation of these, but it's essentially like if you've ever seen one of those little tiny libraries, it's just going to be like a box with a frame and a poem inside. So right now, one's slated for the chamber, I believe, and one's slated for Clearlake Campground. And they're hoping to install those in June. I think we can take a look at those and see if we want to expand that program. She's more than willing to partner. She also wants to join some of these meetings as well in the future, so should be another great addition to the extended marketing committee. Okay, moving down to number 8 here. Storefront beautification. So 8 and I think 5 are related. And so I don't have the full so I think a year ago, we had the Rural Arts Council in here talking about a potential grant that they were going to apply for. I believe this is connected to that,
Is that
the
the one with
downtown
the-
project.
Yeah, it was, they didn't get the grant though.
Oh, they
I
didn't?
honestly, I don't know
Oh, I thought this
if
was
this
part of the
is
grant.
completely,
This is a separate project.
I think this is a separate project
Okay.
because Downtown Strategies is working on that plan and implementation of it.
So that
The-
wasn't the ones with the like Pelicans or whatever we had decided.
Yeah,
to
the-
work on.
No, they're working on the branding, like we discussed for downtown, and that is still in progress.
Okay. But then the art project that Violet briefed us on, that's
So-
separate funding?
Yes, that's a separate project. We are meeting on a regular basis now, and still providing that funding for the project, even though they did not get the grant, the Clearly Creative grant. We've been meeting over the past few weeks and meeting with Downtown Strategies, with Violet and Martha Minster to figure out the best use of that funding. And Bruno has dedicated his efforts to getting additional funding. So between working with Downtown Strategies to follow the branding and the implementation plan that they presented at the city council meeting, working with Violet to see what artists can do to isolate a project using that 100,000 that the city already devoted. Our next step is to walk in the next couple of weeks, walk the area. I think the first part of it is going to be at Austin Park and figuring out where that's going to go. And then Violet will work with the artists to see what it's going to be and what it's going to look like. So we are in the planning stages of that project. But overall, it's working with Downtown Strategies to make sure that it's all going to, for better words, blend, I guess, with our ideal of that corridor area.
And I was able to join the last meeting. It sounds like what Violet's proposing is just a really immersive art situation that takes up maybe a block or two, but it's something that the businesses and the area around it can feed off of. They didn't give us any, at least I didn't see any visuals yet.
No, not yet.
So Melissa, just to add, and I'm going to go back to it, we have an empty building that's not really a storefront, but we haven't done anything with it because the economy hasn't required us. The economy doesn't allow us to do anything. We can't get tenants but my husband and I were talking this morning because I knew I was coming here. He was saying if it's a matter of getting some of these vacant buildings to look like it's something, we'd be willing to donate our front window and the side window to anything that would enhance, but to renovate it because we're using it for storage. It's been gutted when we bought it. To renovate it would be too much and without the rents being there to justify it. Plus, we don't have the parking. You can tell the problem I have right now with the business next door. It's killing me because I can't even get in and out of my own driveway. So, but I would be willing to let them know that Shelley Graphics in that building next door, or either on both sides, we'd be willing to do something to, and help out, because I know the blighted buildings that are sitting empty are a cause, a part of our problem. And, you know, being guilty of it ourselves, I put some Christmas decorations up. But I'd be willing to have art in there or do anything that would help the community.
So that's part two of this conversation. We had talked about doing something very similar with vacant buildings. And I walked up and down Lake Shore. I found, I made a list of these buildings. I think the issue we have right now is Chelsea was the one who was leading that project. As of this point, we don't have a project manager for that. So I think there's a lot of interest in at least doing it from an art capacity. If it's not the larger theme that Chelsea was proposing, at least having art in these vacant windows. So I have the list. If anyone wants to take on that piece of it and be the project manager for this, I think we can continue to move forward.
I can take that on because that was actually my project to start with, and then she
Okay.
came in but what we can do is, I don't know how many more pictures do we have? Do we have still a bunch of
I
pictures?
thought the same thing.
Because,
Joyce.
you know, next door, David Hughes says I can hang, you know, some pictures, but that's big windows. So do you want to hang two in a row or just one? And do we have big pictures? What do we have? I guess that we can use might be one of the things for like right now.
We have
just
the
to
ones
show.
that were supposed to go to the senior center that we've been
So why
storing.
don't we use those to maybe put next door and maybe we can hang one in your window maybe?
Yeah,
And
I can
just get a
take the
start
Christmas
to-
down, clean the
right.
window up.
Because
and-
something's just started to kind of give people an
Right.
idea of what it's going to look like when we get
Yeah.
started on that. So maybe we can look and see what we have and.
Yeah, you can look,
Okay,
absolutely.
Okay, so.
So
maybe
I will-
Joan, I can let you pick out your first picture. I'll let you pick out the picture you want in your window. So, yeah, so I'll take that back on. So,
I'll get you the list that I collected. I also took a bunch of photos as well,
okay.
so that you can help prioritize.
Okay.
You probably already know most of the
Yeah,
buildings
yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, I did do a walk around, but go ahead and send me yours too.
Yep.
So,
And then we
because
might,
Chelsea was supposed to call me and we were, because I had kind of started it, but then she said she'd take it. So that was, you know, so I was wanting to let her take it, but if not, I could start back on it.
so I'll have Joyce running point on this, Joan, since you're going to be one of the founding members. I'll have you run support as a contributing member for this as well.
Oh,
So
that's
you
fine.
two can work together and.
Well, especially since I'm going to be going out and talking to the businesses about renewing memberships and stuff.
Right.
Yep.
Then if you can send me a copy of the agenda too, because I'm sitting here with no agenda, really.
We're basically just.
Yeah, because he's got it on. We don't have this part.
Yeah,
That's on his computer.
kind of do.
Yeah, no one let me know. I sent it to the chamber, but I didn't know that you were going to be representing today. So
yeah.
in
and
the
that's
future,
true.
I don't know if you checked the Clear Lake Chamber of
I
Commerce
did,
emails.
and Colleen we were busy today. Colleen was going to go on and I have a volunteer down there that's, while I was out running around, she's doing it right now for the chamber as well.
Is CLCC contact still the email
Yes,
address? Okay,
yes.
good. I do send in there, just,
Yeah, I've been out running all
Yeah,
morning,
no
so that's
problem.
my problem.
I just didn't know who would be representing the chamber today.
Excellent. Okay. And then I also have some photos of other buildings that had space, you know, I had the quilt project in mind, like just big blank spaces
Mhm.
where if we did, we'll start with the windows, but if there's more
Right.
opportunity
Right, yeah, we can
or
do
more
other
art.
things. Okay.
And then eventually I'd like to feed it into the theme that we're creating with Downtown Strategies and the Art Council and the banners and just try to have a cohesive theme. Right now, if we're just leveraging the photos, I think that's great.
Well, that's what we figured we could start with, because then as we have the car and test again and stuff, then we can.
Well, I kind of think that the beauty of it is
Yeah.
it shows people that are walking by or driving the beauty that
Right,
that is,
Right.
that is
And somebody
our
say, oh,
city.
hey, I took that picture.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, that's the thing. We want the community to know. that they're-
And I don't know if, I don't know if you have any other signs or if you're making more. You know, what would be a creative sign you and I talked about is a graphic representative of the actual lake. There was a couple in today, that's why I was a little late, from San Francisco, had never been here, and they were in their 60s. And so I showed him that the map where it's kind of the fun map. But what I was saying is I've looked through, there was no decent map other than the farm map. So that's something that I was thinking is if one of these pictures were on as part of the art, that would be good. So people coming downtown can actually maybe put one of those in front of the chamber even.
That's
It
just what I
shows
was
the
gonna say,
whole
the
lake,
chamber,
you know
that
what I
shows
mean?
the whole lake, yeah.
Yep.
Like that, that's a good one.
I put that in the content section. We'll get to that
Okay.
in a moment, but
I
I
keep
think you're
interrupting, I'm
talking the
sorry.
right, no, you're talking the right language, because I think we can produce that as part of the map project.
Yeah.
And then we can print it out and use it in
Yes.
the way that you say. Okay, other beautification
Can I ask a
items.
question?
Yes,
Can I-
of course.
So you're saying that you have a map project, that you're going to create a map of Clear Lake with all the businesses and, you know, like the more main roads and things like that?
So we have a business and tourism map that the marketing committee created last year.
Oh, okay.
The idea is we're going to.
Like this.
Oh, yeah.
Here it is.
The hope is
Small.
that we're going to update it for 2022, but not put the date on there. And so at some point, we're going to talk about what that means in terms of the map itself, how it's going to be represented, how we're going to solicit sponsors. So we do have a map. It's due to refresh probably later this year.
Okay.
And
It's a good
as
idea.
the Chamber of Commerce, it's one of the fundraisers I was proposing, because the chamber used to do one every 2-3 years, is to do a county-wide map of the lake, and probably purchase the maps actually from Compass Maps, and then sell ads around it, and not only ads, but have the calendar event on one side. So I will be looking at activating that again for the Chamber of
I
Commerce.
used to get
as a
that when I
fundraiser.
didn't live here, just to see what was going on.
Right.
And take it down with me and stuff.
Exactly.
It's
love
really
those.
good.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
really
and
good.
They
so
were
that's
big
one of,
I have a case of them still at my house.
yeah, so,
Excellent. Other beautification things that I just have on here, 2021 mural. Sounds like that's not going to happen because we're doing larger art project. I like to keep it on here as a placeholder just because we're always thinking about it. Have you seen the downtown strategies summary plan?
no.
Okay, I'll share that with you. I like to use that as sort of our North Star in terms of some of the projects that we're eventually going to take on. And so that's where the banner project came from and a few other things. So that's just on here for reference. Susan, do you want to give us an update on the biodiversity project? Any progress?
Well, the situation with the biodiversity project is that the state is creating a map. They're going to call it the BIOS map. And they are using drones to rush around and see what animals and plants and things like that are in really the whole state. So what I was suggesting is that we did kind of a have you seen me, or a kind of a participatory treasure hunt, looking for certain plants and animals and things that people already know are out there. But when I started looking through what they were doing, they're pulling in data for like the next 6 months, and then they're not really taking public input after that. So unless, I don't see any way I could create that project that would be any meaningful at all at this time, because that project's moving really fast.
Yeah.
And I just found out about it, in January. So they've got a lot of people on it. I was using it as a suggestion, we have such biodiversity here as part of the theme of Clear Lake, to just have, I think we should represent our unique animals and unique plants. And I really like the way, and I think I see from what I've perceived, is that a lot of Clear Lake looks like they're trying to do the animals and the plants in kind of a Art Nouveau way. The paintings have like ribbon fish, and the sculptures look really stylized is the word, which I think is a really good theme actually, because it's Lakeport is painting, I noticed, birds and stuff on their walls. So you want something totally different but the same. And so just visually, if we used the same idea of the biodiversity and just kind of stylized the animals and plants and stuff, we might have a pretty nice look for Clear Lake. So that's where I was wanting to do, but I think that it's possible to actually pull off that kind of a treasure hunt thing. I mean, it could be done, but it's not going to be meaningful in terms of the biodiversity project that state of California is creating right now.
Right. It sounds like though it could be an independent project, right?
It could be, yeah, because there's an independent website where you can go and enter all this, which isn't state of California. And it is kind of fun, and it's just kind of something to do that is, you know, everybody loves a treasure hunt. And quite a lot of people around here, because I started talking to people, they know so much. Oh my gosh. And maybe they're hooked, connected to where they're supposed to input this data, but maybe they're not, you know? So
You know what this sounds? Oh, sorry. You know what this sounds like to me, Susan? It almost sounds like an event.
it's kind of an event thing, but if it was done on a long-term process, then
Well, no, no,
somebody
no.
like a business could have that as something you could bring in over months at a time, you know, and one business could pick one animal or one style of plant or something like that. And then that could be kind of, and that could be in their windows. And, you know, it's just, I'm not entirely sure what the company has done for the theme of Clear Lake. I've seen the Clear Lake logo, but I don't know what the exact theme is for the city itself.
Well, so here, I think my suggestion is to make this a little bit more simple and streamlined, right? The
Go ahead,
goal
yeah.
is to promote biodiversity. Like we're talking about a lot
Awareness.
of kind of different, larger, more complex ideas.
Mhm.
What if we took on the goal of having a one-day event treasure hunt where we give kids and adults and tourists a list of the different animals and plants that we want them to take a photo of, and they go out and they capture that imagery and they come back and we start building some grassroots interest.
So the difficulty with that is just if you have a photo on your phone, you can't really put your photo into anything. So what I had come up with was like we picked certain animals and plants, and we could do this by finding the most ones that we really need to find and make sure that the state of California knows about it. So I made a flyer that had the plant or animal, the scientific name and the scientific picture. And then I have 2 signatures on it. So in the data entry for the state itself and other ones, you don't need this, but it's better to have it, I think. So you would be the guy, okay, let's say you're the guy who takes the picture with your phone. Then you take that, there's a map on it, on the flyer, a map on the flyer, the scientific name, and the scientific picture. So the person takes a picture of this item, animal or plant, on their phone, and they have a second person co-sign it because the second person saw the photo and they saw where this guy saw it. And I mean, at a certain point, you don't have to be like, are you sure? You know, I mean, it's not exactly, you know, the worst thing. But if you had a countersigner, that person saw the photo, they saw it, they agreed that's where it was. And you have 2 people that state this animal was at this spot on the map that's on the same flyer. Just, and the only thing a person does is put a dot on the map and sign it. And then his countersigner has seen the picture and they countersign. So that means like a teacher would have the countersign and all the kids could run around with their phones and woo, 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 you know, take pictures.
It's so
and stuff.
complicated.
Too complicated.
Mhm.
How about, I'm on the school board at Canocti,
Mhm.
And it sounds like this would be a wonderful project for either Laura Lake High School or the KEC.
Yeah, there you go.
And you could do this from each school. We have an FFA program that's both livestock and plant. And they have to do certain things for their state charter. And then work with the art teacher. If I'm kind of gathering, if we found like a beaver, it's documented the beaver, the two students, the teacher document where they saw it, it's on the map. And then you wanted some sort of artistic rendering of that beaver in Lake County, you could take the art teacher that could also be working with the FFA teacher. I'm just making this suggestion because what you are sounding, what you're representing sounds so complicated for the individual. Where if it's run through a school project and you have a teacher and the students that have, 6 months, and then they can report to the city what they did and the state. And then you got your community involved because you got the kids, the parents, and
Right.
everybody involved.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
it's just something to
It's just a thought.
It's fun. Yeah, something to do. The kids could do it. It could be done even in another group, like the Audubon Society could take on a little project or you know what I mean? There's a lot of events or things that could be built around it that would be fun, something to do that's not politically activated or, it's
So
either there
Susan,
or it
it sounds like linking up with the state, we just don't have the firepower or the time to do right now. But
Yes.
to achieve your objective, raising awareness about biodiversity, I think there's some other paths that we can go down, as Joan suggested, and others.
Validate validate that awareness for the person who makes the effort by entering it. There's a public website that's not the state. And so
Yep.
we could even enter it there too. I mean, there's a lot of places you can do this now that people are looking, they really want to know. So it's kind of, it's just something that would be something the city could do that would engage people.
All right, let's you and I chat about this.
Sorry.
Oh, I was like, all right, never mind.
No, I'm sorry. I think I just figured out why we're getting an echo and I got excited. Excuse me.
So Susan, let's you and I chat about this. We'll figure out a way we can make it an executable program.
Yeah, I like the
on-
homeschool. I'm a homeschooler, so I like the whole school project thing.
Love it, love it. All right. And the final two things on beautification, the picture frame, I believe that's going to be part of the promenade project. Maybe not, we'll find out, but we'll find out after it's done. And then a grant, sorry, I guess I did note last month that it wasn't awarded, so sorry, you had to explain yourself.
Kind of on that, it looks like is what they're working on now at Austin Park Beach. Is that the fitness equipment that's going to go in there?
No, fitness equipment.
It's going to go on across the other, so that's
By the
just
tennis court, yeah.
being taken out
Yeah,
and,
that's the promenade over here.
gotcha.
That's been planned for, I don't even know how many years. Totally forgot since I've been here, it seems like, so.
The sad part about it, those rock,
Project that I don't see on here.
I remember as those rock wall and chain were in there
Yeah.
probably before I was born.
Yeah, they've been there for as long as
Yeah,
I can remember,
and,
since I was a teenager.
Yeah, we used to sit on them and swing on them.
Yeah, yeah. Seems kind of funny
People
when I
are
go by there and they're
there
gone.
with
It's like, wait a minute.
My
We're-
heart broke
yeah,
when I saw them come
We're
out.
kind of taking our childhood away from us.
I know.
So, and then we got the picture art project that's not on here, I see. That Melissa and I were working on. For the Living the Lake Life.
That's the photo contest, right?
Yeah,
I have that,
I think it's
And-
under content.
I have that under events and content. I have it in a few places, not in beautification.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so we're going to talk about events. We're going to talk about content. Any other beautification things that we feel like is missing?
I think
Anyone want to take on a new project?
Let's get this done.
Okay. Yep.
If too many projects going, then we don't accomplish anything.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. I think as long as every project we propose has a project lead and we get these things done, I think we're in a really good spot. Okay, moving on to events. And this one's a little bit big. I'm gonna zoom in because we have a lot going on, which is great. And I will, let's start with the soapbox fair beat. Tina,
Yeah.
can you give us a bit of an update on that?
Well, we had our first committee meeting, well, let me backtrack. We created a committee to kind of, it's to kind of go over, the good, the bad, what can be better. things like that. What can we do different to just make it more exciting? And we had our first meeting yesterday. The fun group, I think this year's Derby is going to be even better than the last time. Hopefully it'll be bigger. We had a lot of different ideas. It did come up and it was suggested that maybe we can do a workshop or get some, not generic, but basic model cars, like they can be fabricated and the kids can help put them together. Maybe, we have to determine how many kids or, what the criteria would be, but basically gear it to some children that maybe would not have the resources or the funds or the ability to partake in the race that would really want to race. A couple of the officers had said that they would help do that. So we're going to continue that talk again next time. And then we're just going to do a couple of little things different. I have a few different vendors that are already showing interest. I've got people contacting me already saying, hey, we did an event on Facebook, and then we just had our first meeting yesterday. So there's not a whole lot of pinpointed criteria and stuff to report back, but we did start that yesterday.
When's the date?
September 4th.
So here's an idea, and it just might be like a pre-thing too, the soapbox derby. Some little kids really can't, get in the cars and drive. But, they do the soapbox derby where you just have a track and they make their little box cars out of wood, wood blocks. They can either buy the kit or they can,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking, wouldn't that be neat for the little kids, like an age group that's littler, that they could just come and have a good time with doing something like that, but yet it's still incorporating the activity into a soapbox derby type of atmosphere, because that wouldn't take up that much space. It's really, I could probably even get the tracks from, I know a church that does it, so I can probably get the tracks from them. They probably let us borrow their tracks, and I just thought maybe that might be a little pre-thing of just the kids having a good time.
Okay.
We can get those kits, but we'd have to put it out because the kids, if they want to buy just the kits, they're like $7, I think. They might be higher now. It might be 10. But,
Yeah, let's talk about that.
So
Yeah.
I was actually thinking, because we don't have a Boy Scout troop as far as
Yeah,
I know, right?
not
Like
anymore.
doing a separate event, Pinewood Derby. That's such a fun event. And we can absolutely roll into
Yeah,
it.
Well,
to
there's
the
Cub
soap-
Scouts here.
Is there?
I believe that there isn't, if there isn't in town, I believe
Yeah,
there's
there's not
a
anymore. There's nobody here in Clearlake anymore.
What's it called? A Pinewood Derby?
Yes. Matter of fact,
I'd
we
love
still
to
have
check
some
out
of
the
the
track.
They do
cars
it
when
in,
I
like,
was a
It's
leader.
This one's just a
Normally,
plastic one with
I think.
the Nazarene
But
Church up here has
with
it.
the
Are you
Boy
talking,
Scout
so
event,
if it's a plastic
Oh,
track, is it
okay.
Pinewood or is it like
that's their
Matchbox?
It's like a
signature
Matchbox.
event.
Oh,
Oh,
the little one.
okay.
Yeah, they're well, they're they can be. I think they're like that size. I wrote that.
So,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's Pinewood Derby.
Yeah.
And then the Matchbox are the
You
stuff.
Yeah,
know,
no,
I
there's the
think
bigger
there are
ones.
some Cub
But they
Scouts
just
here,
set it up.
but I'll
They do
look.
it every year at the church up there, and they give like awards, and whoever gets it gets their name on a plaque, and it gets posted on the wall for a year. So, but they set the track up, and it just it's not like a huge long one or anything. It's just a fun. I just thought maybe that might be something fun for a pre-thing to keep while everything's getting set up. You can have another little contest going, and maybe we can have some little ribbons to give them.
Okay.
Something simple.
Yeah.
And then, so I love that idea. Joan, you think you have a contact with the Cub Scouts as well?
Yeah.
So maybe if we can borrow their track, staffing some of
It's
the Cub
not a,
Scouts.
we used to do it at the Elks Club and then it was done at the youth center. And I think
Yeah.
they're still meeting at the youth center or they have their stuff stored there.
Right.
So the track could still be at the youth center. I'll find out from Susie Heidebreck on that. Is this Labor Day weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the FFA kids who would love to participate in this are all up at the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
But they're
Yeah.
not there the whole weekend.
They are there the whole weekend.
Yeah, I thought it was only Friday, Saturday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Because they have to, as part of their project, they have to clean the fairgrounds down Sunday afterwards. So our kids, as we let them out of school, they're out of school from Wednesday on. And it's all the kids in the fairground, I'm just saying, it's sad because it's
I think we're also going to have a concert that week, that night.
Yeah.
We should talk about the concert schedule at some point.
And I,
Doesn't have
if
to be
I
this
remember
meeting.
right, that was sort of because we didn't get to do uh, our big celebration for the city last year.
Yeah, This
Yes.
is kind
This
of
is
our
it. Oh, and
40
actually, that's the
rolled
other
into
problem.
it.
The fairgrounds uses the Cub Scouts and the Girl Scouts for their parking.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
well, we'll figure it out, but I
Figure it
just,
out.
We're gonna have to, one, make a great event, and then two, steal all that volunteer work.
yeah.
Because we're gonna have great events over here pretty soon.
Oh, yeah.
That's the
Oh, yeah.
mindset I want to have. Okay, so I love that. Let's at least inquire into the track, because if we can,
Yeah, I will find out.
if we can integrate it into the soapbox derby, I think it can be a really good standalone
Yeah.
event as well. That
Yeah.
can lead
Yeah.
to the promotion of the
Yes.
soapbox.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Even if we did it prior to, that's what I was saying, maybe prior to the soapbox derby to enhance people to get kind of engaged into the soapbox derby.
We could do it either way, right? We could
Either
either
way,
do
yeah.
it prior, or we can sell the kits at
At
the soapbox
Soapbox
derby.
Derby,
yeah.
And then a month later, we have
Yeah.
the Pinewood Derby. And then
Yeah.
it's-
And
Yeah, somewhere
I-
those
Tina, I
incorporated.
think that we had at one point
I like
at the
that idea
chamber,
better.
we had kits
Sell
that
the
told
kits and then have
kind
a
of like
derby
how to put
month
together
later or
a car
I like
and,
that one,
and
because then
obviously
we
the
can promote
application forms.
over and over.
Yes.
And that
I'm
falls right
digging
into
out
my
some of the
fall
stuff from
finance,
last
yeah.
year, and once we figure out, the rules and if,
Yeah,
so part of the little bit of a trickiness from last year was the starting blocks were built. And some of the cars were built according to what was written in the rules, but the starting blocks made it a little tricky for some of them, and they kind of ground it out. So we're seeing if the starting blocks are still usable, and then therefore we'll adjust in the rules. If not, then we'll make new starting blocks according to what is currently in the rules. So I need another week or two to get
Yeah.
everything,
I think that's wonderful.
yeah,
I love it.
everything finalized. But then once I get that, I'll give them to you guys at the
Yeah.
chamber, so that way. And then we're gonna have a couple of the cars from the other race in the parade, and then I'll be at the
Right.
parade again, like Melissa and I did last year, and have registration forms if somebody
Great.
wants to register or sign up as a volunteer or something.
Yeah.
Sale
Oh,
of
that's
the
great.
Red Box At the parade on the 4th of July. So there's lots of ways we can go about this.
There's a ton of
Yeah.
ways.
And
yeah.
then, I mean, if we get enough interest, we
Yeah.
can
Do
just
two of
build
them.
our own track too.
Yeah.
A nice long one that goes in
Yeah.
Austin Park.
Yeah.
From the bandstand out. Like, I loved Pinewood Derby as a kid, so
Yeah.
I am all for this.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
Yeah, let's work on
let's
that.
put a plan together.
Okay.
Joyce and I will take the lead on this, on the Pinewood piece. Okay, 4th of July, Joan, can you provide us?
Okay, I can fill you in a little bit in talking to Alvaro and Jack for Lakeshore Lions Club. I understand Tatanka is out reserving spaces for vendors that may want to be there. So the parade will be down Lakeshore Drive as usual, start up at 10. The parade will be will actually start at 11. They're having vendors in the park, and they have gotten their liquor license approved through the state of California. So both Lions and Lionesses will be there selling our adult snow cones and the beer. And then I believe the Boosters Club will be there doing their oysters, so all that'll be happening. And the fireworks are at dusk, roughly 9:30, I'm gonna say. So there won't be a car show this year. There was I guess a problem, Kevin said, that the way the curbing was designed at the park, they can't get the low cars in. All the classic cars that ride low can't get into the park.
Did they not do it over across the street here?
I
this year?
don't know. So,
Yeah.
but I think and that's sad. So there
Yeah.
won't be a car show this year. So whoever takes on that committee, if it's Kevin Nesto, will have to coordinate with the city. They need electricity too.
Mhm.
So they need to know where they can set all the cars up, that they can secure them. And I think that was a nice thing when it's in the grass area. The campers stayed there and people were there guarding the cars at night.
Mhm.
And that's something that he didn't feel like it was secure enough this year and they couldn't get the cars in, which I couldn't understand because it seems like they could build a ramp to go over the curbs, you know, to drive the cars on, but I think it was too short for Kevin to put it together.
Yeah, because all the car people that I know are like, the car shows that I know are being put together are like the one that we have down at the Nazarene Church, they have every year. It's like 3 times already bigger than what they've ever had because they've got all these people that want to go.
They wanted,
So
everybody wants
I was
out.
very shocked when he said like, we need a lot more help because we normally just have a small little one. And he's like we already have 3 times the cars that we've ever had
Right.
before. So he goes, these guys like want out. So
Yeah.
so that's sad.
So it was too bad.
Yeah.
And if it changes, it changes.
Yeah.
You will have a copy of the poster to put on your website and I will have it on the chamber. As soon as Michael puts it on the chamber site, I'll get it to him tomorrow. So it'll have, if that's pretty much what I can answer so far for the Lions Club.
Okay. So us as a marketing committee, Stephanie and I put together an event execution playbook. So, and I wanted to use the 4th of July as the test case here, right? So we have a organization that has a great idea, a great event, and this can be the Soapbox Derby as well, which we'll probably do the same thing next month. But how can we as a marketing committee figure out a way to promote this event better, right? You know, if we have folks coming from out of town that don't know our community as well, what are some of the options that we can give them to really accelerate awareness? So I put together a couple of things here. We'll go through them first. If we think we need to add anything, we'll add it. And then what I'd like to do is give project leads so that if you're going to take on poster distribution, for example, the hope is that you'll get the posters and then by our next meeting, the posters will be distributed to the locations that we've identified. And part of this is going to be building the muscle. We got to figure out where to put some of these things. But it's basically when we have a great event, I want everyone to kind of know their plan of attack so that we can all just go and take 2 hours, do what we need to do, and everyone in town knows about the event. So for the 4th of July, I have create a landing page with online forms for vendors and parade. I'm going to be doing that on downtown Clearlake between the information Joan shared, this here, and then I'm going to need a little bit more information that I can connect with either Jack or Alvaro on. But that's definitely going to happen. I'm going to take the lead on that. Print and distribute forms at City Hall and Chamber. This is for vendor and parade. Poster distribution, there's, you know.
Are you
first-
talking their poster or creating one for, here, I'm going to add to you, you know, one of the things I talked about in our chamber mixer, our meeting here was that we need as a community to build around the 4th of July event here at the park. It's Lions. They make their money selling advertising on it.
Mhm.
However, at the same time, our city should be looking at, the chamber should be doing something. As Lioness, I run the adult snow cone booth. But Colleen and I were talking, there should be something at Redwood Park. I mean, at Highlands Park happening at the same time. So as that parade goes down, maybe a farmer's market. And then your poster should be everything that everybody's doing in our city that entire weekend. So it's not just, it would be,
Not just a one-day thing.
yeah.
A little
And
a
so
little brochure that has like everybody what's going on.
what is going on? So the
Who's
thing that, if you want to talk about a marketing, is you're not going to market necessarily just Lions Club. Your poster is going to be for everything happening in our south end of the county, if you want to say, or Clearlake, that weekend. That's what otherwise, there's other nonprofits out there. Let's say Park Study Club wanted to do the farmer, you know, I really do think a farmer's market that Saturday or a specialized farmer's market that Saturday, not competing with the Lions Club, but just doing produce and stuff like that, because there isn't usually a produce vendor. You don't want to hurt what the Lions Club is doing. So it has to be different, but at the same time, drawing people here.
I remember as you mentioned it, the Hilltop Church did their garage sale the same day as the Lions Day Parade did. And they made a killing because all the people going to the parade went to the garage sale afterwards. So there could be, we could put a poster together with and we have to reach out to people doing anything that weekend. I'm not talking garage sales, we're not
Yeah,
talking car shows or farmers markets or
Art in the park.
art in the park would
at the
be
farmer's
another
market.
great one. Art in the park, I'm thinking at the chamber. But also at the chamber, Colleen and I were talking, we need bathrooms down there. It's horrible. I can't tell you how many times every day, 2 or 3 people that do come in want to use the bathroom. I think that's why they come in is to
Yeah,
use the bathroom, and then we got them cornered, but
And just to let you know, John, there was a time that we did talk with Action Sanitary about actually having their nicer bathrooms.
Well, they used to have them
Yeah.
there.
And then obviously each night they would be locked,
right.
so that they're
But
not
I'm just saying it
abused.
should be something the city should be investing in anyway. You got to park there with no bathrooms. People are fishing there all day long, and so what are they doing? I'm sure they're using,
See, we did have bathrooms there. We had a handicap one there.
but it became out during COVID.
Yeah,
I understand
yeah,
that, but
yeah.
now COVID is
Right.
past.
We need to-
It needs to be addressed again.
Right.
But anyway, I'm just thinking you've got Highlands Park and you've got Redwood Park. Have some events planned at the same time so people could go throughout the whole town. Because what happens is they get burned out if they've been at the 4th of July, and I've seen it happen. About 2 o'clock, everybody's
home.
burned out, but they still want to go, well, people coming from out of town still want to do stuff.
Mhm.
Our locals want to go home, but they go back to their resorts or their Airbnbs and saying, okay, what's next? I have to wait until 9:30 to the next thing.
Yeah, and that's what I always
We're
find is.
having a concert that night too.
Yeah. Because that's
Oh,
good
good.
because one of the things I find with the 4th of July is that, it's like, 2 o'clock, it gets really hot. And then about 5 o'clock, everybody starts coming back out, but all the vendors are kind of gone.
Filtering
All the
out.
food's gone, everything's gone. So I think we need to be looking at, having some food vendors, if nothing else, after the 4th of July stuff is ended, maybe in the evening, having a couple of food vendors there, because that's been my problem, and
Well-
other people have told me that. It's like, God, it got so hot, we had to go, but when we come back,
All the
everything's
food's gone.
gone, and we wanted to eat, we wanted to
Right,
support.
right, and I can tell you why Lions Club and Lioness has not done that.
Oh, because it's a long day.
Well, not only it is a long day, we were more concerned the liability of those that drink
Mhm.
and they start drinking at 2 and go, and especially into the concerts.
Mhm.
So I will share with you
Yeah.
it was decided to end it at 5 because of the potential alcohol use.
Yeah.
And
understand
so,
that
yeah.
Yeah.
So if you had a break where, let's say Lions, and even talk to Lions that we closed down our food portion of it at 4 and then it reopened again at 6. So those that were intoxicated couldn't get alcohol in between. You know what I'm trying to
Mhm.
say?
Yeah.
Because
So they still
that,
don't
we
hold on.
talked about that, both Lions
Or
and Lions.
Somebody like the Highland Senior Center could take on, doing the food at nighttime or
Right.
something like that.
Mhm.
Maybe a
Yeah.
couple of different organizations.
Well,
could
especially
be
the
in
concerts, if you're having
Yeah.
concerts in the park, you want to have food
Yeah.
during
So, I
that
mean,
concert.
Well,
You know.
can we, so I agree with scaling up these events by bringing in more folks. Right now, we're at the end of May. Is there anything that we can actually execute on to augment this event?
I think invite, like you said, the art in the park, get a hold of the artist community and.
Like the
have-
Arts Council.
Yeah, get a hold of the Arts Council and see if we can
See if they can put something
get
together
something
for
at
the-
either Redbud or at
I think
Highlands Park.
I think Highlands Park would be a good place for the art in the park.
Right, that would be a good
I
place.
think to me
And
that's
then
where it should
maybe
be. So
have
they can put
a,
it together, and we just give them the space.
if we had the Farm Bureau and we could set up a farmer's market at Redbud, for example.
Yeah, that's a lot of paperwork farmers markets are, by the way, and I don't know if they can't just,
Well, yeah, and
you
have to
can't
go-
just set it up, you
and
have to go get
you have to go
certified.
through the
It's-
city, or
There's a
the
whole lot
state,
to
or
that, yeah.
Lakeport
Yeah.
Health Department and all that.
The health department
It's all
is
in the
really
filing
good. All the health department forms are online.
Yeah.
It takes, you send certified
Yeah.
mail. I can get my
Yeah.
certification on the health department in one day through the mail. I mean, through the online. So it's
For a
not that
farmer's
difficult.
market?
For when I have a food permit
No,
process.
farmer's market's like totally different, though. There's a whole lot more paperwork to do to the farmer's market, so.
The vendors
Yeah.
fill out the same forms.
I
That's
know,
what I'm
but there,
saying.
it's farmer's market is different. It just is. I've done it, so. I
Well,
know
I
there's-
mean, it-
But I think we still could do, I think time frame wise, we could probably still do it.
It
but-
can be done if someone wants to take the lead. on
Yeah, I
it.
would say it still can be
Right.
done,
So
so.
does someone want to reach out to the art council? Does someone want to take on the burden of trying to launch a farmer's market? Or at least contact with a group to launch one in this tight timeframe?
I'll look into the Arts Council.
The only caveat for Highlands Park is there's no resources there. And we've discussed it with the Arts Council before in our discussions on where to place art. And so the difficulty is no electricity, no bathrooms, no water.
Bathrooms, well, we would have to
No
make sure there's
bathrooms and
bathrooms
water.
there, and there'd have to be a portable water thing there.
Right.
I understand.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying that's one thing to keep in mind.
But as far as art, what do they need?
I don't know.
Yeah, well, just tell me.
I think it would
and-
just depend on the project, really.
Because we used to years ago, I mean, I don't know if Joan remembers this, remember where they used to just let the artists come out here and just put their artwork out, there's always, every weekend there was something going on here. And sometimes it was just the artists out there with their artwork, and that was it. And the county at the time
Well, and
just kind of
down,
let them do it.
down in Silicon Valley, my gosh,
Yeah.
every single town would
Right.
have, like the whole month of July, there'd be one weekend it would be Mountain View, one weekend
Right.
it'd be Palo Alto,
Right.
one week. So it's possible
Yeah.
to do that. And
So-
art and wine is what they
Yeah.
call
Right.
it.
And you
That-
could still do, you could even probably do art and wine down there. But again, the problem is exactly it. There's no water and bathrooms, and I hope that is on the city's. I heard Rotary was adopting Highlands Park. Is that correct, or?
I
Yeah,
haven't heard
Well,
that.
Rotary is adopting Highlands
I
Park.
heard that, but I don't know.
I hadn't
Because
heard
I
that.
know we had the
Some
money.
usually not.
And then-
Oh, okay.
So
Oh,
if we
the
do,
clock.
so
The
if we
clock, that's
do,
right.
if we do the arts in the park there, we would definitely have to make sure that we have
Porta
portable
potties. Yeah.
porta potties
Yeah.
and or unless the chamber is gonna stay open and let people come in and use the
Oh,
bathroom. So
No, I don't,
then you have
that's
to
not a
have
good
porta
idea.
potties and,
No.
and washrooms. And I mean, a washing station.
Yeah.
So,
I think we should look at this like, we want to enable groups to do these events.
Right.
we don't want to do them
these
ourselves.
sports.
So.
So they
But-
can assess the situation. We can
Right.
help them with logistics. But if they look at Highlands Park and say, there's just too much here, I don't want to force it, right?
Right.
We can give them other options as well, but I think we should be cognizant of our bandwidth.
The main thing I was getting at is the posters you design should include everything that's happening.
Right.
Just an overall, so people, and especially your distribution, everything going on in the south end, and I would include Laura Lake in that,
Mhm.
even though, because we're partners in the south end of the county in that sense.
Okay, so
Maybe
that's
they could do the art in the park at the Redmond Library. I mean, I don't know how busy that would be, but I think if people knew they were there, then. we would-
Well, the problem is the parade sets up there, so it would have to be after the
After the
parade
parade.
passes.
Well, they could still be setting up in the park while the
Yeah.
parade's getting ready, because so I don't think that would be a problem.
And it's not windy there, if it happens to be a windy day, it would be better.
So you're saying Highlands or,
Redmond. Let them make-
Redbud has the facilities.
Yeah, let them make the decision.
Yeah.
If they want to do it or not.
Right.
Okay, so let's take the other events out of it and just talk about the 4th of July and how are we going to promote this event? If there are other events that pop up as part of this, and I guess the concert would be part of this, so we would design a poster. But poster distribution, banners, do we have locations that we can post banners? Do we need to acquire locations where we can post banners to promote events? PR and media, what type of kits are we setting up so that we could give The Lions group, here are the contacts that you need to get a notification out to. Vendor list, which Stephanie is working on, if someone has an event. I'd like that to be a living list for us. So we have the digital copy as well, but as more events and more vendors come, like I'd love to keep adding to that list so it's a resource for us. And this is, if we have an event organizer who's trying to do something, can we give them a speakers tour, a list of folks that they want to talk with, the CTAs, the Rotary, Bloom, Lake County News, the radio station, etc. And then social advertising. Right now, I don't know if the Lions are doing much in terms of organic social advertising. I doubt they're doing any paid social advertising.
Not yet. Usually Bob Keel is involved in that, and sadly, since Bob's lost his wife, he's not been involved. Bunny at Tatanka is supposed to have taken over, but to give you an idea, Aurora kept saying, I'm bringing you down the poster. He didn't do it, so I just have my husband, because we've done their poster every year. I just have my husband take 2 years of posters and update it and redo it, and took it down to Aurora today to say, are you going to approve this so I have something to get on the webpage?
Here's what we got, yeah.
So,
So the radio they can do for free too, because it's a community event.
Right,
All they do is
right.
just send it over to the radio, to Bi-Coastal Media, and they'll put it on all their things.
yeah,
Plus the community radio will also advertise, and there are a lot of people that listen to that community radio.
so I would say Bunny, I did talk to Jack Smalley, and he's kind of, Bunny is, I think, spearheading it for Bob Keel. Bob used to go ahead and have the newspaper actually print that little event newspaper.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's happening this year, since, it's just like, I'll share with you, anybody out there listening, all our service clubs, everybody's dying off or getting too old. And so we need more young people involved. I'm going to yell that out now,
Yeah,
because that's really the problem here is Bob Keel has done it for, I think he told me 30 years. This will be the first year he has not done it. Ray Bridges used to do the parade.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to do it this year, but he said, I guess I have to because no one came
No one
forward.
This will be his last year, I'm pretty sure, because he's
Yeah, I'm pretty
like,
sure.
Yeah,
end
and
of this
so,
month, he's retired. So
yeah, it's sad because that's where we're at. I'm the same thing with Lioness. I'm like with the 4th year as president of Lionesses. You get to the point where it's sad because we don't have enough
Our young
people
kids don't
willing.
get involved in the
Yeah.
community civic clubs, which we really need to maybe
Right.
be a
Well,
marketing thing.
frankly, they don't have time. I really do believe that.
So we have a lot of knowledge that's out there. Can we
Yes.
get them in here so that we can put together best practices, right?
I
Folks
agree.
have done it for 20, 30 years. Let's figure out what they've done.
Pick
Let's
their brains
get it in
and get it.
Yeah, Bob and Ray especially.
I am, and here's, Colleen and I were just talking about that before I came down here. I would like
Bob Keel
to,
and Ray. What's
but
Ray's last
my-
name? Is it
Bridges.
Bridges.
Ray Bridges for the Lions Club, but frankly, there's a lot of people that what would be nice is if we can get even my husband down here who I'm going to interrupt. You were talking about the kite parade. I did that first kite parade. We had the kite thing
We
here.
haven't talked about that
I
yet.
know we haven't, but you and I talked about, it. We used to do the Easter in the park and did the Easter parade. These are things that just no one took on, but I still have the pictures. I still have some of the paperwork from we had the entries. So surprisingly, you can put Bob and Joan down. We have a lot of the database in our computers. And you're right, it needs to be a how-to manual put together that could go on, how's an event put together and how do we follow through? And you're right on this. It's exactly,
Because my goal here is to raise awareness so that the events are more successful so that they don't drop off, right? Like,
exactly.
we did a kite festival one time, we did a whatever one time. If they're not sustainable, then none of that matters. It all falls
Exactly.
out the window. We need to create events that are going to build a history here. So then let's do this. Let's you and I connect. We'll bring Bob in, we'll bring Ray in. whoever else we think is appropriate. We can start, we can start laying out best practices so that we can, and then maybe we bring this back up next meeting. We can
And
start
it's not
deciding.
just him, you've got,
Well, I want your
Yeah.
best. I want your best. Like
Yeah.
the folks,
Start
I want it tight. I want the folks who can say, do this, this, and this.
bring Kevin Ness in also for the car shows.
Oh, yeah.
He's done the car shows.
Okay. So then I'm gonna head back to events then. Joan and I will take that on to build out the promotional package. And then for June, we might need some rapid fire help in getting some of the stuff out, the posters, the banners and things like that. All right, moving down the list, Lower Lake Days. No action item for us, just wanted to have it on here. Everything looks like that's shaping up well. Stephanie, were you able to chat with them to get a vendor list from them?
No, I feel that this probably is, well, I'm confident that their list isn't any bigger than this list.
Sounds- What I would love to do is let's get every list that we can.
Okay,
and
okay.
then, like, if there's 5 missing, then we have 5 more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Sabino, power to the youth. You know, I need to not make that happen this year. There's just, I need to go through a lot more processes than I can make happen right now. Power to the youth is gonna be people having an intimate situation of an event. They're all on the bouncy house, they're all gonna be on the climbing wall. At this moment in time, I don't want to deal with that, not knowing exactly what those guidelines will be. Definitely next year, but I don't think that things are gonna be fully available for not having the huge liability that COVID-19 is still. That's fair. And it sucks, because I think we really need it. I just don't know how to control it. It's a very uncontrolled environment and everybody has fun. But COVID-19 is fun is bad.
Right, right.
Photo contest. Joyce.
Hey, so Lilith and I met this week and we went over what, like living the lake life means to you. So I think we can take what we had already kind of put together. Did you do a proto thing or did you not get to it? I know you're really busy too, so.
I did part of it, so I put together some information which I can share.
Can you share this also with me in the chamber that I can get in our chamber newsletters and out to?
Yeah,
Um,
once it's finalized, we're gonna send out a press release and get it out to everybody.
Okay.
And we're still aiming for the state of the city address?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that's what our hopes
Let
are.
me,
And then what we just, was basically just, what does living the lake life mean to you? About the scenery photos and go more with that activities or, like I said, more than let's not have Kanaka anymore. So
so I put together a draft web page, so I'm gonna share my screen. That's okay. Good. Stop that. So, this is a draft, so you're kind of seeing the back end of it. So what it says is it's going to be off of our main page and it'll be on the front page under our news flash. Then it will lead you to this special page, which says, we're announcing the contest. This year's theme is Living the Lake Life. We want to see what living the lake life means to you and kind of going over what we're looking for, focus on events, people, and activities. It goes over the photo submission deadline, which we had discussed to be a little bit before State of the City, which I finalized with Alan this morning as October 13th, 2021, right before this meeting. Tina's so sorry.
Okay.
The second Wednesday of October. And so if we end the contest on September 12th, it will give us enough time to finalize the ones that are gonna be the finalists. So here's the thought. We in the past have had the public judge the photos at the State of the City. Now, depending on how many we get, we can print up a final list of, say if we get 30, we can't print up 30 like this. It gets quite expensive.
Right.
So September 12th is the deadline. It's a Sunday. That week, we have both a marketing committee meeting and a city council meeting. So the thought is to come here and discuss the process that we want to do to end the contest and send the finalists to the State of the City for final judgment. Once we have final judgment at State of the City, we can announce it that night. And the winners, as you can see here, I've also authorized this from Alan. First prize 200, second prize 150, and third prize 100. And Joyce has offered to co-sponsor. So we have a little bit of a monetary prize for people. So we already have photo contest at clearlake.ca.us set up. I'm also going to set up a submission portal through this website. I just hadn't gotten that far before we met today.
Oh, you did good, Melissa. Days. Just a whopping that day. It's like,
I have the press releases from last time. I just have to rework them a little bit.
So how are you selecting the winners? Just-
So that's what we need to come to
Right,
a
that's what we
decision
didn't know
about
what we
here.
wanted to do.
So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like a live video or live and then a taped video presentation, right? So if we don't want to print all these, we could do it like the One Team, One Dream Awards show where we have a no.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I react. I feel like I'm in trouble. But, essentially what we can do is have a video that goes on social media in different places where we have each of the photos, who submitted them, and then we have an online voting option, right? So someone can vote digitally. We can present it in the marketing meeting. We can present it at the city council as well, but let's have all the votes be digital and then.
But, okay, so last time when we printed these up, didn't we show all the winners? I mean, all the people that submitted the things? Wasn't that like a whole art display?
Yes, we did, but
much did that-
we didn't, so we didn't have a whole lot. That's what I mean, is depending on how many submissions we
Yeah.
get, it can get a little pricey. Because, something like this is about $75 to $100.
Well, we don't-
So what if? you
Right,
do
well,
like-
it's
we
not
don't do
that
the big
big,
ones.
but
What if you do like the county fairgrounds does, that as part of the entry, when you do your photographs, you do the entry digitally, but you have to provide the print, has to be framed. They give the rules on how the picture is. You display them all around in here. And people have a week, you have this open where people can come in and each picture has a number. And they vote, pick out the first two, 1, 2, 3 on a slip of paper, put it in the box and they exit. Or you could, if not here, maybe even the senior
Yeah, I was gonna
center.
say, the whole project was, the first time we did it was we displayed everything during the event. In the one auxiliary room, all of the artwork was displayed back there. But we don't have, I kind of agree with, we could just do printouts and in frames.
We
If we-
don't, no,
if
no,
we-
the.
No,
entries-
I agree with what you're saying, that we could just do, not everybody that submits would have a big picture, only the ones that we pick as maybe the top winners,
We run
I
into an access issue with that,
Yeah,
right?
I think
Where,
so.
To get a good frame and to get a large enough print, you're talking 50, 60, 70, even more, right?
Well, and I also think that you could, especially if you're relying on people coming and
Yeah.
you may not end up with the one that is really the best picture,
Well, yes.
just because they were popular with their friends. They
Yeah,
said,
I mean,
so,
that's going to happen in every.
Yeah.
You can
contest.
buy,
Yeah.
if you're doing an 8.5 by 11, I'm just saying, you can buy at Walmart a frame, an 8.5 by 11 plastic frame for about $2.
Walmart blows them up right there. It costs maybe $2. So at the most, it's costing somebody $4, maybe $5 to put it in an 8.5 by 11 frame. It is not expensive. And it's, I don't know if Rite Aid doesn't do it anymore, but Walmart does. I'm just saying, you're talking about you costing, if you picture 3 after everybody's judged, and then, or you're 10 or however afterwards, that's different. Then you go to the cost of it. But for the initial thing, I don't think it's, anybody that's into photography or learning photography knows how to do this.
So if we
I
put them in,
think that, oh, yeah,
go ahead.
no, that's fine.
No, go.
Well, I think that for access purposes, I agree with David's idea of digital. And, submission, I think having the smaller frames, I'm not sure where we would display them until they get, until the state of the city, between September 12th and the voting period of September 12th and having enough time to get the finalists printed up for the state of the city.
Yeah.
It's going to be a short period of time. And I'm not
Too bad
sure.
we didn't think about this earlier. We could have done it on the 4th of July and had a show where they did do the small frames and had people come through and vote, but I don't think we have time enough to put that together like that.
But that's another event. If you're talking about an event,
There's your
coming up
part
with
in
another event, there you go. Is have the contest be in maybe during the soapbox derby, or you know what I'm saying? I'm just coming up with some,
Yeah.
or something like that, and then bring it in August.
Bruno had something to say.
I think the soapbox derby and the 4th of July are exactly the type of pictures we want to see
Yeah.
Yeah,
submitted
yeah.
from.
Yeah,
So
that's
having
true.
a contest during then, I think
Yeah.
misses some of the
Right.
greatest potential of
Right,
the picture.
right.
that we
I
can
agree.
get.
That's the point we had with
Yeah.
having it end in mid-September.
And I think that the state of the city is just a random event that is not necessarily a public event you want to take a picture of either. For submission, you want to show something that's going to be fun and entertaining that all
Right.
families can picture themselves doing when they're here. And so I think that having it when you guys are having it is perfect timing.
I think we
So
should
I
just do
think
that.
that-
I think that,
I think the way to do it is digitally.
Yeah.
I think that's the easiest way, because then you can put it on social media, you can put it on your website, so that throughout the rest of the weeks before the state of the city, people who can't make it to the state of the city can already vote on it. And then maybe you have a limited number of what are the top 10 so far voted for, and that's what you print out for the state of the city, where then the people who are at the state of the city choose from those top 10 as far as what's going to be the top
first,
3.
second, third.
That way you're limited on how much you have to print, the cost of what it's going to take to print, and you can do more than just an 8.5 by 11, because an 8.5 by 11 doesn't necessarily awe a
Showcase, yeah.
person who's looking at a picture. That's going to be something like possibly this, right? And so I know we want people and activities, but I'm just saying this picture at 8.5 by 11 would be a nice picture, but at this size, it's just wow, it's magnificent.
So my ask, I guess, is the week of September 12th, once we have the pictures together, the week of September 12th, like I said, is going to be a marketing committee meeting and a council member meeting.
Right.
I guess we can circle back and view the submissions. We'll set up the votes, and I guess it's just informal, information only, I guess it's gonna
How long
be.
does it take to
Because
get-
if we're gonna have the public, the point is the public going to choose the finalists? Or is the marketing committee and the council going to choose the finalists?
Well, I think.
I think that was our question yesterday.
Yeah,
Joy.
because I was thought about, like, if we do the top 10 that we print out, how much is that gonna cost? I mean, how much does these cost for the, not a great big huge one, so. but,
Right,
you
so
know,
not quite that big.
Just-
They're
yeah.
about $85 each.
So, I
It
mean,
costs
$1,000 basically to
Yeah,
out
it cost
10.
us about $1,000 to do it the last time
Yeah,
we did it.
so, okay, so that's not, I mean, that's, would have to be something that Alan would have to approve, so on that,
Right.
first off, that's number one. But I think you will, but I think that if we put it out digitally, how long does it take to get these printed up and back?
It takes about on a good note, if it's quick, I can get them probably in about a week and a half.
Okay, so if we had it where we had a decision made, then you got time to, okay.
Yeah, just enough time.
So one thing we noticed with the holiday light fight was a lot of spamming. And someone, I think you mentioned that people are going to stuff the ballot box. So depending on how, if you want to limit your group of judges to just like the city council members or the marketing committee, that is a path that you could take. It depends on if you want, if you want engagement, the public's the way to go. If you want to actually pick the best ones, then having a smaller body is the way to go.
Let's see,
Who did it last time, Melissa?
So,
I mean, I don't remember
The
the public
first-
getting involved in it.
yeah, the first year we did it at the State of the City. The second year, we presented it to the marketing committee. The marketing committee picked some finalists, and then it went to the city council for final determination. So we've done it both ways.
so I think, personally, I like the digital, put it online, get it down to 10, you know? But I think if you want to get the people to the State of the City, when we had that first layout and everything, I mean, we had a lot of people there. And I think if we're trying to get the people to get involved into what we're doing, we need to be able to involve them into the voting process. You know, so my opinion.
Well, people in person at the event, I think that's fine. I think when you're digitally, you're going to get a lot of ballot stuffing, but you know, showing up, everyone has one
Yeah.
vote. I think
Right.
that would be a good way to go. with
So I think that it's okay to let them vote and stuff, but I really think that we need to decide the top 10. And then I think the final vote should be at the State of the City.
You could do the Major League, I'm sorry, the Major League All-Star game format where the fans pick a bunch of players and then the coaches pick the actual good players,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And that way you get the awareness piece of it. You get
Mhm.
people voting, the top 5 or whatever, highest votes get in. Then you have a body that says, all right, but these are actually the 5 best photos.
Right, okay,
there."
I like that. I mean, that's fine.
Just, I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's you two that's going to make this decision. We're just throwing
Yes, sir.
ideas out there.
We can always say the public can pick 3 and then we can decide on the other 7 of what's going to be the top ones. The committee can.
Okay.
So we can let them, because we have 3 prizes, so they're not gonna, you know, so that the public's gonna just concentrate on who they want to be the best. But then the all around is those 3 would get in on the final one in at the event, but we would pick out the other 7.
Well, and here's another question. Is there an age, are there age categories? I mean, because obviously, 10-year-old is going to probably paint
Yeah.
different than an adult.
They
No,
haven't done that.
We haven't
No.
done that, no.
So it's,
Because this is to really get pictures for our marketing.
Yeah,
So it's
we're
not- it's
really
not a-
looking for professional grade
Yeah.
photos.
okay,
I mean, this is for us to get these pictures that we can post and use and
right.
do stuff. Number was behind me.
So, 2 things. One, I think what we need to prepare for on September 12th, is David needs to have a website ready to go with the pictures ready to just be dumped into it so they can be selected as
Just do
to
it
which
downtown.
one. Sorry, David, but you're the guy.
We can just do downtown Clearlake.
That
right?
way the page is ready to just dump a bunch of pictures. We have a number on it or something like that. Maybe they're selectable so that those are the ones you chose. Pick your top 10. That way those are the 10 that show up as far as the top rated one. What was the other thing I was going to say? I think that the September 12th committee meeting should also be where you filter what's unnecessary, inappropriate, and doesn't fit within the themes that you asked for. That way people aren't wasting their time going through pictures that they're like, why is this one completely blurry? You want to be able to knock
Oh, yeah,
off
we would do
the
that. Yeah.
pictures that aren't going to waste people's time. You want to efficiently use their time to look at good pictures that fit within the theme that you already did. So I think there needs to be that first filter of the committee, to make sure that these pictures are the appropriate ones for the photo
And I
contest.
usually
you
do
asked
that.
for?
I was gonna say,
I usually do
that would
that
be probably
in the
us.
parameters
Yeah.
of the contest.
Hence,
I'd say, you know, it has to be this many megapixels. And
It has to be
it
an
has to be
activity.
recognizably Clearlake. And then what I do is I filter them through when they email them or submit them. And I get back to the artist and let them know either it, you know, here it
You've been
is, you
denied.
didn't make it, or it's fuzzy, can you resend it or something like that. I do filter it.
Okay.
You know, you got me thinking, what
But
we
yeah.
could have, I'm sure there are out here, some type of voting module or software that we could then embed on this page, embed on downtown Clear Lake, embed on the chamber. But they all feed into the same platform, right?
let me-
So you enter your email address or some type of one-off verification.
So that you don't have somebody voting 50 million
Right,
times.
but we can just put it on every website if it's the same, you know, widget that
Right.
feeds into
Right,
one platform.
right.
Sorry, 1 second.
I mean, you can, if you can do it on Facebook by saying vote, I'm sure you can put a module for vote, something like that on it.
Well, that's what happened. We did for the holiday light fight, share and like, and then Nick Lambert just shared it 500 times. And we
Yeah.
said, all right, we're canceling half of these. You still win, but we're canceling half of these.
Pay for effort.
Hey, it's
Okay, so
within the rules.
here's what we can do. This is our current photo gallery, and there is the ability, down here, you can see people's choice. So you have the ability to give the photo like a thumbs up. You select a picture to, select a picture to view at full size, or give it a thumbs up to vote for it to receive a spot in the People's Choice Spotlight. Now,
Good idea.
yeah, it is, but people never do it.
But if we put
Well,
it in all
you
the
have
different
to tell
places.
people it's there.
Yeah.
And that's the
No.
biggest thing, and that's when you talk about your posters or advertising. You have to let them know that you have this on the site.
But if we do the
So if you-
city and we
If
do
you
the,
hover over it and you can see
we can
it.
even put it on ours.
There's
Give
the
it a
thumb up.
little
Have
thumbs
that
Yeah.
link and say go.
So we can do it this way as well. It's just, I would have to, it's a little bit more complicated on the back end,
Well,
but we
so-
can do
But now
it.
they have
So
to
what I'm-
actually log into the site, or can they do it without logging into the
Yeah,
site?
I don't know the answer to that just yet.
So what I'm suggesting is there's this proprietary software out there that we could just embed on the page. If you can embed HTML code onto that page, then we could just inject it there on the chamber, all these different
Well,
websites.
actually, you can use Monkey Survey. Monkey Survey will, and I think it's free, but I'm not
Yeah.
sure, because that's what the school districts use.
I think it is free.
And
Yeah,
Monkey
it is
Survey, you can only do it once. So
Right.
once they do their
They clicked on it and
email,
it's gone.
Yeah,
it-
they can't. do
yeah,
that.
they can't,
Right.
yeah, they can't, yeah.
Yep,
So,
that's exactly what.
Monkey Survey is a good one.
I just
And
did
if
one
you
of
do
those.
have to pay for it,
Yeah.
you use a
The
certain
transit.
level of systems that they have inside there. So it's free, limited, but I think you can do certain.
Yeah,
things.
I'm not sure. I've never set a Monkey Survey up. I've just done them a lot of times.
I've never seen pictures or anything on it, but
If we could go by IP address, that's a little bit easier than email, because then.
We all
we
have
don't.
4 emails.
Yeah, well, I'm not even worried about continuity at that point. It's just, you know, folks are, if it's gated, people are going to just say, I'm not going to go through this process, potentially. So if it's IP address based,
Yeah.
if it's, you know, like Facebook where you click it and then you go
Yeah.
back to that in the future, your like is still there.
yeah, yeah.
I'm sure we can find something.
Okay, so maybe you can work with me on that, David.
Yep.
And I
That's
like
what
what
we
you've
have
done
so
here
far.
Yeah.
too. Very nice.
Yeah, this looks great. I think, and then we're so far ahead of the game that we can really promote this well, I think. Once we lock it down.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll stop.
Then I'm just thinking that if we can get one thing that they can just click on, a link, then everybody can put it on. I mean, like I was telling him, we could even the nonprofits can be promoting community events, because that's what we want to do, is have people come to our site too, but we can still direct them to other sites. So,
All right, so let's,
Quick question,
yes,
last question. You said that we're way ahead of the game, because September 12th is when we start when do we intend for promotion to start? Is there a starting date for when we hope to get a press release out, get the information out? I would suspect we want it before the 4th of July, so people
Yeah.
can be prepared to take pictures for the 4th of July.
Our
Just
target date we talked about yesterday was the 1st of June, the first week of June, hopefully.
Yeah, because we said the same thing. We want
Yeah.
to get it out before everything's happening, So whether it's
We're trying.
that or the Derby, we thought of all those. That's why we were trying to figure out when to start the promotion and when to end the contest, because we want to try to get in as much of this summer as we can in pictures. And not, like I said, we're trying to keep away from the scenery this time because we need activity pictures to show people what to do, what is living the lake life, this is it. I'd like to have a nice photo gallery of all of these pictures that people submit, whether they get into the price thing or not, of just a photo gallery of this is us living the lake life,
we may get limited lake pictures this year, but
Yeah. Well,
You
we'll
lose,
see.
you lose 3 likes if you have Canuck Day in it.
Yeah.
Okay, last event, the Kite Festival. Stephanie, do you want to give us a synopsis on what you're proposing?
I'm just, besides the fact that I had forgotten that we used to do a kite festival here, I went on, of course, webpage to see who in the Bay Area does one. City of Berkeley does one. There's happens to be canceled this year, or it was canceled. Anyway, so it's got all this information about what, where, how, and all that to do it, which is very helpful.
Right.
And, there, we need to find out, there are places that you can actually get kites. And then they have wonderful pictures and they have sponsors. So, I think that this could be a really,
Homemade fun.
and it was interesting in traveling around, both Walmart and Rite Aid had a huge amount of kites. So I kind of said to them, I hope you're going to have these all year long,
Yeah.
because
Right.
some people would probably try and build their own kites, but, and of course, there's
Yeah. Age
a
group, small,
gazillion
yeah.
places.
Well, we had a kite shop here and that's
Yeah.
why the kite.
Well, and there's 2 out in Bodega right now.
So I will share you the downfalls to the kite festival we had. The wind at Austin's Park and the trees.
Too hard.
It was horrible. So to do it, it has to be either in the soccer field area where there's no trees, but the wind is a problem. So just to share with you, don't pick it during a windy month, because, and yet you need some wind.
Yeah.
So we found that you're almost looking at doing it in early spring when we don't, we have breezes, or in the late fall when there's breezes. But during the summer, it's one of 2 things: the wind like we have now, or
Yeah.
it's dead calm. And so I'm just sharing with
Yeah.
you the problems we had. And then when the kite shop closed and they were the main sponsors of it, we just didn't follow through at the chamber with it anymore.
So it'd be like April and maybe September, because the winds kind of come down in
Mhm.
September and April, the winds are kind of a little calmer. So, but you always have to have the contingency, like if you don't have it this weekend, are you going to be able to prepare
Yeah.
it for the next weekend?
Mhm.
So,
I'd love to target October for this. quite frankly. I feel
October's a
like-
good one
Yeah.
too.
I feel like September is getting a little busy now.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
October would be good too, still.
Yeah. But just.
And I mean, the
keep
very
that
fact that you're
in
having
mind.
it during the day,
Yeah.
and actually living fairly close to the lake, usually around 4 o'clock, if we're gonna have any kind of wind at all, so you have it a little, maybe a little earlier in the day.
Yeah, like
So it's
11
not,
o'clock to,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, however you did it, we had vendors around it and other things. And so just remember there's,
Yeah.
weather is a key problem, but also the park now with all the trees, it would be devastating. Because I know how devastating it was when we did it.
I remember
Yeah.
the lines, the kites were getting tied up in lines that were
Oh,
over there
yeah.
at that time. I remember
Yes.
that. It was
So
really
people
bad.
actually went down on the lakeside because we said all of Austin's, and they were doing it on the lakeside. And so
Mhm.
that was nice too. So if you did the lakeside for one age group and the soccer fields
That would be
for
good,
another,
yeah.
but, and have vendors in maybe in the park
Yeah.
or music or
Mhm,
whatever,
mhm.
but no kites in the park
Mhm.
because of the trees.
That's what you'd have to do.
Yeah.
I'll help you with that.
Great.
Joyce is now supporting. Another thing, the CTAs are really interested in being, taking part in this. I have an email from someone from the CTAs that they want to set up a meeting.
Okay.
So I will forward that to you too, and then
Okay.
you two can take it from there. Excellent. Okay, that's it for events right now, unless someone has something to add that.
That's not that anymore.
Yeah, I know. I think we're all, well, this is good momentum, folks.
Yeah.
It really is. And we just have to follow through and get some of these things done. But if we can all do it together and support the project lead for each one, we're going to have a good comeback year. And then moving to content, the only thing I wanted to share here, actually, Supervisor Sabatier, any update on the augmented reality project?
None at the moment.
Okay. I did update downtown Clearlake to capture some of the new events. I'm going to add all the 4th of July information as well. And then we can start adding modules for the Soapbox Derby as.
So is that a web page you have?
Yep, so this is sort of our marketing committee platform for distributing information and events. So the update, I just added some of the new photos, all the events that I know are confirmed right now and have some type of link for the most part are here. Hopefully we can add some more. I tried to really clean it up and not do too much so it's not too busy, but all these are click through. So if I go, to Lower Lake Days, it's going to take me to an excerpt, a description, any details that I do have, the poster, and then a link out to whatever organization. For the Soapbox Derby, that will be linking to our website, 4th of July as well. Right now, I think I have it linked to the Facebook event page, but that needs to be cleaned up on the Lions end. So this is an easily repeatable module. And then we had talked about with Chelsea at the time, taking news that the chamber posts on their site and having an RSS feed coming here. And she was going to talk with Michael about it. I don't
I'm
know where that
changing all of that because I cannot find her links to where she was doing any of that.
That's fair.
So I am going to be, that's something within the next week I'm getting out. Michael is going to be working with me to upgrade our web page because it's horrible, and redesigning it and getting it more interactive. So I would like to have a link to yours, for example, on there. A lot of things, because we really need to, I want that chamber website to just pop. If you look at the Middletown Business Association website, it's outstanding.
Yeah.
And here, so, yeah.
Well, Michael's a good resource for you. Any content that I can feed to your website and vice versa.
Right,
let's
that's
figure out
what I'd
ways.
like to be able to link.
Yep.
That's why I put you down. I also saw on your agenda here, I would like some of your contact people information, like Susan's information. You had somebody down, I wrote the name down, Tina, for the fishing tournaments.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's you. I didn't catch the last name. I'm trying to read this and I couldn't figure out whose
Sorry.
name is that.
So
Sorry, Tina.
project leads are all marketing committee or extended marketing committee
Okay.
folks. So all these are
Well,
mostly known entities.
because you have those lists, I'd like to get those posted. And interestingly, Deanna Golf didn't have all these tournaments monthly. I don't know if you communicate with Deanna. Deanna Golf is the president of the Clearlake Youth Bassmasters. And it's a county-wide program that is sponsored by Bassmasters, and every school has to be represented in the county. And we have, when I was there, Lower Lake High School, 2 of our kids won state championships. So I don't know how much Sarah, how many kids she has involved in it now, but you talk about the soapbox derby, we have kids that are competing statewide from our county, and it would be nice to have them more recognized.
And also, as is there a way that we can promote, because school's going to be getting out, that we can get some information to the schools about the soapbox derby that can be
Yes.
given out to the kids so that they're aware before school's out.
If
that
you
was one of
want
our
that to me,
problems is-
Or,
I usually work with Sarah because last year I got volunteers.
Right,
I got
right.
some athletes, I got kids
But
that
now we
need
have,
hours. Yeah.
Brandy, it's Brandy is our new webmaster and our new advertising person at the district. If you also email Becky, she'll make sure it is, we hired this lady that's doing all our publicity. So she will work with you and getting it posted on the Kanakai webpage and Facebook and all of it, since it involves.
Because we want the kids to, fill out an application, get their parents involved. And, the
Right.
whole thing here isn't
Right.
just about the soapbox derby. What was nice is seeing the kids and the
Well, the
fathers and
kids,
the mothers and
I had
everybody's
so
there.
much fun taking pictures. It
You
was
know,
a
doing that
blast.
kind of stuff to me, it's great to promote our city, but that's the part that I really liked the best was the kids and everybody, what they were doing and how the families were interacting. And
Mhm.
I love seeing that. So I really want to make sure the school gets the information out to the kids before school's out.
Yeah, get
Okay.
that to Becky and she will get it out to our people,
Okay.
as well as Sarah.
Okay.
All right, any reports?
We did them all.
Excellent. Any future agenda items?
I want to put something on for us to talk about, like, but down the lane's okay. But just I want to put out there that I would like to do a Christmas festival. Not just let's have Santa Claus type thing, but an actual festival. And we got to set it up to where it doesn't matter what the weather is, that we can still have it.
So if I may, Elizabeth Kelly had proposed a weekend Christmas in Clearlake or something along that. She proposed to use the senior center. However, I think it might interfere with the remodel, so I'm still trying to figure it out. But she has a lot of vendors and it would probably play, these are like homemade things
Right,
and
right.
things like that, like
Right.
a lot of the, the old towns kind of
Mhm.
did. And I think it's a wonderful idea. So if that's something that,
Yeah, I really kind of wanted to, I was actually going to talk to Burns Valley Shopping Center there and see if there was a way we could set up, like, because it's not quite as windy there.
yeah,
Here off the lake, even if we had a park, we didn't really have to have tents and stuff. But just, if we could, if they'd let us maybe talk to them about doing some, just a little festival there at their park. Lots of cities do this in parking lots at the stores like that. And, but I just wanted to kind of put it out there that we do need to start thinking about,
absolutely.
instead of just Santa Claus, let's do a festival, and stuff.
So, and I don't know if you can do it at this point, but when we set up, before the wine commission took over the wine auction,
Mhm.
the Clearlake Chamber of Commerce set that very first wine auction
Mhm.
up. And we rented a tent out at Gwinnett, and it was very cold and rainy that very first year.
Yeah.
But it was the same size tents that they
Right.
use in the casinos, and they
Right.
came up and you can have vendors in there
Yeah,
and,
but they're very expensive.
yeah, I don't know, but I'm just
You
saying,
know what it cost us just to have that little overhang that we had at the State of the City out here? And then like $5,000 or $6,000,
Oh, that's
something like that,
outrageous.
little tiny thing.
I don't remember the exact price. I could find out. I have the invoice there.
Well, we probably should just, maybe if we can get some pricing, then we know at least whether we can go that way or what we
right.
need to
But
do. So,
again, if you're looking at it, it still might be a way,
Might
because
be.
your Christmas, well, you don't have a Christmas tree.
Mhm.
I don't know what happened to it. I guess it never happened,
Yeah.
but,
Well, we have a nice big Christmas festival and we have it in a tent, then we can do it at the park. But if we can't get a tent, then we'll need to figure out, because it's too windy here. No,
So it sounds like
Just
Joey
something
should
for the
link up
future.
with Elizabeth Kelly and maybe combine forces.
Sure.
there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other future agenda items?
I need her contact.
I can give you her contact, yeah.
Folks, with my marketing gavel, we adjourn.
Thank you all for bringing it. We'll bring you the mayor gavel. You need to get used to it anyway.
You know what I need is one of those I forget what they're called, like the chalkboards that the
you.
film people use.
Sorry,
And like
I couldn't-
marker boards.
I didn't put it together.
No, you're fine.